Imagine this. If you could meet a porn star, that intense feeling you get when you meet a celebrity, like I feel like I've met this person before. When you meet a porn star, is here both intensified and twisted, because you've seen this person naked. That sacred, most vulnerable moment of a person, when they have an orgasm, a moment that is so sacred, so vulnerable, that for most of history, you had to marry a person to see it, has now been seen by you. And because of technology, she can appear in 1 billion homes at the same time. And so it has not just been seen by you, but by 1 billion others. And imagine this. It hasn't just been seen, but it has been immortalized on camera.
Some sort of post-traumatic stress that is in you from this experience.
Yes, and I think it kicks in mostly when I go out in public, because the stares I get, I feel like people can see through my clothes, and it brings me deep shame. It makes me feel like I lost all right to my privacy.
I have one friend in particular that did some scenes that she's really ashamed of, and people have thrown those in her face for many years, and people don't believe that she's actually evolved and that she's not the woman that she once was. And I know that that's really, really hard for her, and it's almost like people have seen you do things on camera and they think that that's forever who you are.
But that woman with the scarlet letter wasn't born this way. She was probably sex trafficked, or she ended up manipulated by the porn industry headhunters, who are nothing more than subowners of honest girls.
What we're experiencing as victims of girls do porn is that we have verified that this is the largest sex trafficking case that's ever been prosecuted. That's monumental. So for me, like, I'll go and try to be proactive about taking my content down, but that almost always means you have to look at the comments to scroll all the way down. And I'm exposed to all these different, because as if the messages that I get still 10 years after the fact aren't enough. It's really creepy. And it is scary. If you do have kids, and you're a part of this case, you almost have to accept that unless the laws do catch up, there's nothing that's going to stop your kids from seeing a video of you being assaulted.
There used to be a time when you didn't need your feelings validated. You knew that sexually you didn't like certain things, and that therefore you weren't going to do them. You were able to draw logical conclusions. Then you started watching the most brain-damaging material known to mankind. You started watching an unhinged person who kept on telling you that their hate was supposed to be love, that you're insecure and crazy for not wanting to be loved with the violence of porn, that the hate this person was giving you on your TV screen is a First Amendment and something you should be thankful for, and now you don't know left from right. Imagine this. You were happy, you had a life. As you watched porn, slowly but surely, you stopped being happy, you lost your life. Now you're living on the mercy of the porn dealers. Porn companies are aware of how awful and damaged and hurtful they are, but their whole existence is built around the denial of it. You don't tell porn what you like. Porn tells you what you like.
My first shoot was down in Santa Monica, and from right away, I called my manager to tell them I was uncomfortable. And instead of the supportive producer and the supportive manager that I had experienced when I was signing my contract, I got told that I was being difficult, and that if I was going to continue to make money in this industry, that I was going to have to learn how to behave. I had zero say-so. Oftentimes I didn't even know that I was going to a shoot. One night that I was picked up, and I refused. I refused to go, and his reaction to that was to take my phone, to take my shoes, and drop me off in this area of Southern California that was just agricultural. And so there I was in the middle of the night with like workout shorts and a sports bra, no shoes, no phone, no money, no purse, just really left by myself.
It's so incredibly problematic and I think ludicrous to ever even suggest that people can have a contract for pornography, like an employment contract, because it's not like acting in other ways, because we're talking about something that's so physically intimate and so psychologically intimate as well. And so I always find it just so disturbing when people say that porn actors have consented to this set of behaviors, because it's like, in what other situation in life would we ever say that it was acceptable for someone to just sign a contract for sex before it happened? We would expect there to be that ongoing active communication with both people checking in constantly. Does this still feel good for you? Are you enjoying this? Pornography isn't about mutual sexual pleasure for the people involved. I really like Dr. Rebecca Wisnant's definition of pornography. She says, pornography isn't about sex at all. Pornography is about sexualizing hierarchy and inequality.
Pornography is temporary pleasure, followed by emptiness. It promises intimacy, but leaves you more isolated than before. It pulls you in with excitement, only to disappear when the screen goes dark, leaving you alone with regret. Pornography feeds on your disappointment. Deep in your heart, you long to be truly known, loved, and accepted. Pornography can never give you that. Instead, it convinces you that pixels are enough, that fantasy is safer than real love, and that your deepest needs can be satisfied by something that never knows your name. No matter how many times you return to the porn ferry, no matter how many promises you make that this will be the last time, it always slips away from your hopes, leaving you feeling ashamed, defeated, and empty all over again. Jesus said in Matthew 5:28 that whoever looks at a woman with lust commits adultery, because you knew that every relapse chips away at your confidence. You begin to question your self-control, your identity, and even your worth. The cycle repeats itself: temptation, indulgence, guilt, determination, and then temptation again. God told us to pull down strongholds in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4-5, because he knew that pornography thrives in that cycle, because it keeps you believing that freedom is just one more click away, when in reality, every click tightens the chains. As your self-worth is worn down, the stress, shame, and constant emotional conflict begin to take their toll on your mind. The longer the addiction continues, the more it can shape your habits, your relationships, and the way you see yourself. The freedom Jesus Christ gives a Christian begins the moment you stop believing pornography is lies. Recovery is about refusing pornography to define your future. Every step towards honesty, accountability, destroys the addiction's grip and strengthens the person you are created to be. In these last days, Satan is creating an evil imagination that's desperately wicked in the hearts of men. So we must develop a moral imagination, for only by a moral imagination, and with a moral imagination alone, shall we be able to be free from the evil of pornography.